Hey guys, welcome to part 6 of painting this lily. I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to be doing this today because I'm doing this before work. So let's go ahead and get started. Some of these paints are still wet, even the smaller blobs, so that's pretty good. So I've got my side reference here. I'm not sure if you can see it on here, but you can clearly see where the plain black was of the surrounding area that I did versus, like, I think at one point I did like a value 4. So something that stuck out for me. But all right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start working on probably this part. Actually, you guys can't see this part here of the flower, and then also probably this part here. So yeah, let's get to it. I think that's going to be more of a value 1 with a little bit of mixture of 2 from the previous mixture that I had here. We're going to see. And this goes, excuse me, this kind of goes all the way, actually it goes pretty far up. As you guys can see, I'm still using my round brush. And this goes here. And I'm still not picking up like huge globs of paint. Excuse me. So this part here is kind of like I want to say more of like a 2 and more like a 2, I think. I'm going to try see how it looks. A little bit more of a 2. Sorry. And then I'm just going to, with a clean brush, just kind of blend these two together by kind of going over the edges to kind of smooth that out into one another. I'm going to take a little bit more of 2 and just bring this in some more. Now what I'm going to do is I'll wait. Excuse me, jeez. I'm going to wait until this dries before I go back into it. Because what I'm noticing is that these are drying a shade darker, a little bit darker than what it looks like originally when it's wet. So, all right, so now we're gonna go in this area here, this leaf over here. This seems to be more like I want to say like a mixture between a 2 and a 3. Kind of actually what I've got going on here still. So this paint is still wet. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Once again, I'm using thin layers of paint, so I'm not just globbing it on there. And then I have that mixture still of the 1 and 2. And I'm going to slowly go across here. I'm going to slightly go over where the 2 meet, because that's where I want that to blend. Clean my brush real quick, and I'm going to grab some more of that mixture of the 3 and 2 and kind of go over where that blends here, or where I would like that to blend, and kind of do it that way. I feel like this part right here needs some work, so I'm going to do is get this here. I'm going to go over it slightly. I feel like actually with this that this needs to actually come out more. I know it's still wet, but hopefully that'll help with the blending a little bit. So I want this to go here and come up more. I'm gonna leave it right here because I feel like I'm probably picking up some of the paint that I put down. So I'm gonna leave that there. Then I'm gonna work on this section here with this color. I'm gonna add a little bit of water here. Thin this out. Oh. I might need to remix some of that. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up needing, I'm actually gonna need to clean up these small dabs of paint that I've got going on here. Where is my tools? Sorry guys, I'm looking for my a paint scraper so I can clean up some of this that I've got going on. I just don't know where I put it. Found it. All right. Oh, over here dropping stuff. Messaged me. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick up these dry paint, these smaller pieces of paint or smaller blobs of paint. I feel like they're dried. So I'm gonna pick those up. Sorry if you guys don't like the sound of the scraping, but I'm trying to get this dry paint off. All right. As much as possible. There we go. So that way I have the wet paint still on the palette. There we go. So, oh. That's still semi-wet because I had paint on my hands, but whatever. Okay. Let's continue with this part, I think. Well, what part do I want to work on next? As you can see, like, as it's drying a little bit darker than what it was when I put it down. So what I think I want to do is I'm going to take a big chunk of, is this wet? It's like it's clunky. I might have to get some more white paint. So let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna switch this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this white paint. I feel like it's not gonna be useful. Like it's clunky, chunky, whatever. I'm gonna put that here. Got my tube of white paint. Just gonna lay out a fresh blob here. I'm gonna toss this away. All right. So, because I don't feel like I don't have my paper towels with me, so I'm just going to use my cloth to wipe my brush on here. So we're going to take some of this white, first tone, and then I'm going to take some of the second tone here. Okay, this paint's still good. Okay, take care of my second tone. I'm going to use my palette knife to mix this up. So this is second tone, first tone and second tone mixed together, but mainly first tone. Or first value, sorry. All right, so let's go ahead and pick this up here. My brush is a little bit wet, so what I'm gonna do is, there we go, I'm gonna work on. Kind of work on this area, so I'm going to go back in this area because I feel like this part's dry. Yeah, this part's dry already, so. I'm doing the areas that I feel like are this tone, so these lighter areas in the picture. And then these darker tones I feel like is a mixture between second tone and third tone. So I'm gonna clean my brush off real quick. I'm gonna grab a little bit of second tone, a little bit of the third tone here, and I'm gonna mix these together. I'm gonna do a little bit more of the second tone. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually wet my brush a little bit. Try this again. I'm gonna pick up this, and then we're going to slowly work it in. Or try to blend these edges here. So there's that second, third tone. that mixed. And then I'm gonna clean, and then I'm doing this second tone mixture here. And I'm going to work on just literally slowly blending it with that, just slightly going over where the two areas would meet. I'm gonna dry my brush here. I'm gonna take up that second tone and just try to slowly mix it in. There we go. There is a little bit, there's a little line here of like this second, third tone. I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to put it in. We'll see. It's very subtle. And it comes down here. And then, so that, yep. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean my brush off, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of this first and second tone, and I'm just going to lightly go around it in a way that kind of blends it, just barely touching the edges of it to kind of help blend it a little bit. There we go. So now I'm going to work on this side here. I have a lot of this, I'm going to say first, second tone, and then there's a little bit of maybe that second, third tone. So I'm going to go in here again, and I'm going to lay this down. And then I'm going to clean my brush, get some of that second, third tone here. And then I'm going to lightly, well, not lightly, but I'm going to blend it in here. And do a little bit more here. I'm trying to remind myself it doesn't have to be perfect like the picture. So, and I'm blending that in with the white area, or with that first tone, just so it kind of helps blend a little bit. Because that still, I push it into the light, into that wet paint. And then going down here, and then touching the edges of that wet paint of that second, third tone to kind of help blend it a little bit. Just softening these edges here. All right. So now let's see what I want to work on. I still need to work on this area underneath here, but I don't want to work on that just yet. Or am I at my 18 minutes? So let's work on maybe the back area here. So we're going to do the second, third tone. Do the second, third tone, and I'm going to kind of just be careful about how I'm laying this down, but I do want to lay this down so I can go here. I'm trying to be mindful of where like the stems are going to go, the pollen things are going to go. So I don't want to just paint all over those. Trying to be mindful of where those are going to go. And I'm not sure if you guys can see in this painting or through the video, but where that darker color was that I had there, it's kind of peeking through this second, third tone that I'm putting down. It's very subtle, but if you followed along, and like I said, the mixtures might not be the exact same, you might be able to see that peek through as well. With, actually, I want to do this one here. You might be able to see that peek through as well in your painting. Once again, this is like the second, this is like the third, third and second tone mixture that I'm laying down here. And because it's still thin, you can see, like I say, you can see that under color, that underpainting peek through. It's not just like a solid blob of color. But it is darker around this part here. And so you can see like that color starting to peek through as this color is drying. So I'm going to lay down another thin layer. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to get this area over here and then this area here as well. So once again, we're working on building up layers. And it's darker inside. So what we're going to do is I'm going to clean my brush because I'm going to get third tone. I'm going to get the third tone and I'm going to start blending from the inside out, as you guys can see here. And it's still touching that wet, it's still in that wet paint, like the paint is still a little wet, so it's going to blend. And a little bit of blending here with that. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You can always come back to it later. I'm going to get that second, third tone, and then we're going to blend it down into that wet paint that we laid down. I'm going to clean my brush real quick. And I'm going to take that third tone again, and I'm going to blend it into the wet paint that I laid down as well. I'll clean my brush here. And I'm going to bring that wet paint from the second, first tone into, to kind of help blend it out a little bit. We're going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to take that second, third tone, I think it was, and I'm going to blend it down here. Oop. I might have put that on too thick, but that's okay. I'm going to blend it down. And then I'm going to clean my brush, get some of that third tone, and I'm going to blend it up into that wet paint. I'm going to do a little bit one more because I want to make sure this stays wet enough, because I'm going to clean my brush real quick, go back to that second, third tone, and I'm going to blend it down like I did the other one. Blend it down into it to help smooth that transition, that blending transition. And I'm going to blend this up here. And what we'll do is we'll wait until after it dries to kind of figure out what we need to do after that. Actually, this is too light here, I think. So I'm going to slowly add a little bit more third tone into it. And then same here. It's not going to be as much of a big area, so we're going to take that second, third tone. I'm going to start adding it and then immediately clean my brush, grab some of that third tone, and then go where it meets. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush real quick, clean brush, and I'm going to just take that second tone and blend it in, that second, third tone, and blend it in to that third tone. And then go the opposite direction, help blend it out a little bit. I'll see how it looks, of course, after it dries. I'll have a better idea of what it's going to look like. And then same thing here, second, third tone. I'm going to come in here clean brush, go into the third tone, go up into this, clean my brush again, grab that second, third tone, and then go down into it again to kind of help blend. Clean my brush real quick, and then go back in. So as it's drying, I'm getting a better feel for what's going on here. Same thing over here. This is dry. What I am going to do, the pollen area, the pollen stems, I think I'm going to flush those out a little bit more, as well as the longer stem here. Where are we at? We're at 25 minutes. So I think I'm going to do that, and then we'll probably call it a day, because I know my iPad is not charged. It's at 37%. So I got a smaller brush, smaller round brush. I'm going to take the white, pure white. Value 1, and I'm literally going to start just laying in where these stems would be going. And I think this one here. Like, once again, I'm not doing these huge globs of paint. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. So, because I'm not like just laying down these thick, super thick layers of white, that underpainting, especially where the paint got over it, it's starting to peek through. So it's not this full on white against the image. Come on. I feel like that's not thick enough. I'm struggling on this one. And I'll go back later and have to repaint these in, I'm sure, as I continue to work on this drawing or this painting, because I'm pretty sure I'll probably end up painting over the stems at some point again, but that's fine. And here. All right. I do want to work on this part here. So we're gonna work on this part, and then I'll probably call it a day with this one. So this is like a first, second tone, hopefully. I wouldn't call it a third tone directly. Maybe second tone. Let's go with second tone. And then, because I'm doing a thin layer, that underlayer is going to peek through, or that underpainting is going to peek through. So it's not going to be this solid second layer or second tone in certain areas. You can still see that underpainting peek through. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just do this whole thing, because I can always add that line in here for the underneath the flower in there later. I feel like it's a little bit lighter though too. So I'm gonna go back in with the first, second tone and just kind of lay that in here while this paint's still wet. But I feel like, no, I feel like it's darker. I need to darken that up. So I'm gonna go second, third tone. I'm gonna go back in here. Even though this paint's wet, I'm gonna go in and add that. And it is a little bit darker around the stem, so I'm going to go like third tone, slight third tone, and just go here while this paint's still wet to kind of do a soft blend here and maybe here. And clean my brush real quick. And I'm just going to blend this. And actually, let me get some of that the second, third tone I think I used. And just kind of softly blend that in. Try to anyway. And so with the contrast, I feel like this part isn't light enough. I think that's like, I'm gonna go with 1 and see how that's gonna look. And once again, it's not gonna be fully white because I've got that underpainting that's still kind of peeking through. I'll clean my brush off here, and then I'm gonna take some of that wet paint and blend it into from the top and blend it down. Even though it's a hard, kind of like a harsh line here, but I want it to have a smoother blend. Go here, go into this first tone, and then blend that in. And then I'm going to take, I think that was a second tone. I'm just going to go ahead and blend it in. I feel like it's darker, but we'll find out, I guess, after it dries. Once again, I'm using thin layers here. Thin layers of paint. All right, we'll look for that to dry. I feel like we might be close to done, maybe give or take. We'll probably got this back area to finish up, this area here. I might touch up on this area, and then this area in the front, and then of course here. Actually, let's do work on this area here. I feel like that's a mixture between, I'm gonna clean off my palette knife. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take third tone. I don't think you guys can see it. No, you guys can't. I'm taking third tone here. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of the mixture that I have, the second, third tone here. I'm gonna take a little bit of that. And we're going to mix it. I feel like yeah, I feel like that's good. And then we're gonna do the stem area and the leaf. So Damn it. Whatever. Take this, clean this off. All right, so a little bit of water on my brush. I dried it off a little bit. And bring the stem down here. I feel like this is too dark, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the first tone here and mix it right here on the painting. Oh, hold on. All right, and then I'm going to take the first tone and mix it in a little bit with this mixture that I have already. And then I'm going to do the leaf here. And then I'm just going to block it in. Trying to get it to be all the outlining as much as possible. All right, that's it for right now. We're at 37 minutes in, so another 40 minutes. I feel like maybe 2 more sessions and we should be done with this. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you later.